Hey, it's Rick with Roaring Toyz. Today I'm going to show you how to do some lowering links on a 2013 Ninja 300. We're going to use this as our demo bike. It's pretty similar to some of the other motorcycles you're going to see with these style lowering links. It's going to be a standard link with the multiple adjusting holes. Even though a Ninja 300 may not be the most popular bike out there, the reason we're going to use it for a demo today is because it's very common. The type of links used on this bike are going to be common to a lot of other sport bikes and bikes like it. First thing I'd like to point out when you're going to do this job is you need to secure your front end somehow. You may be working on the ground, you may have some sort of fixture you can get it in and get it strapped down nice and tight. You want this front end real stable, because when you install these links, we're going to be jacking up the rear suspension is going to be unloaded. We want you nice and stable in the front so nothing's going to go anywhere. Alright, now that we've got the front end secured on this bike, I'm going to go ahead and show you how we're going to install these lowering links. Not always, but a lot of the times you're going to have to remove a trim panel or two to gain access to these lowering links. You might have a lower belly pan, a wing, partial fairing that's going to have to be taken off so you can gain access, make it easy to work on. On this particular bike, we're doing other work, so we have all the fairings off. That's not necessary, but I just want to let you know that. Now that we have our trim panels removed here, we got good access to our links. We're going to go ahead and we're going to show you how to jack this up safely. When you jack it, I don't want you jacking it anywhere under the suspension, because you're going to be taking the load off of it. So you're going to find a suitable place underneath the frame, depending on the bike, maybe the oil pan itself. And we're going to jack it up there, and I'm going to show you how to get the load off the suspension, but no jacking on the suspension. And when you jack this up, you don't want to jack it too high before this wheel is going to turn, because with wheel turning there is a little bit of load on this link here. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring it down a little bit, just so it's just on there. What we're looking for is the sweet spot, somewhere between touching the ground and being off the ground, and that's going to make these loose. They're going to be loose. I've already gone ahead and loosened these nuts and bolts. Depending on the bike, it could be, this particular one is 19 millimeter and 17 millimeter wrenches. So I have these nuts loose. Just take them off. And the sweet spot we're looking for, so this will just slide off. Now it might be a little bit up. There it is, just a little bit up. There it is. There's no load on that suspension now. It's safe to work on. Okay, now that we've got this first stock link out of here, the suspension's unloaded. You might run in a condition where, your bolt's going to hit your stock exhaust. And don't get upset, because we can remedy that most times, and people don't think about this, is if you take, and you can get the sleeve out of the link, out of this knuckle right here. Pull that sleeve out. Now what you have here is this bolt can wobble back and forth. It'll give you the room that you need up and down or which way to kind of work that past your exhaust if your exhaust is in the way. Gives you room to work. And on this particular model, definitely on the top, this one is hitting the exhaust. You can hear it hit the exhaust. So I'm going to pull that sleeve out of this side, and now it gives my bolt room to wobble. With that wobble, I can take it and I can push it right past the exhaust, no problem. And I've saved you all that trouble of having to remove the exhaust. So before you freak out, let's get these sleeves out of there and give yourself some room to work. And like I said before, don't freak out that you can't get this out because your exhaust is in the way. If you get those sleeves out, that's going to give you a lot of wiggle room to kind of get those bolts and work them around the exhaust. Some cases, you may have to pull a portion of the exhaust, but we're going to try to get away without doing that. And this is one of the ways you can do that. All right, now we've got our new Roaring Toyz lowering links here. You want to keep your adjustment at the bottom. There's no room to put up at the top anyway. So let me get started with that. Kind of get your lettering position the way you want it there, how you want it to look on your bike. This side here. Coming from the back side again, we've got the sleeve out. It gives me my wiggle room to get around my exhaust. I have the bolt in there. Once I have the bolt in there, I can go ahead and I can put the sleeve back in. Let's get that in there. There we go. Now we're all set with that. Now, just so we can get a look at our ride height, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and slide this sleeve in there on the bottom. And what we'll do is we can take this other link and we'll just set it on here. Maybe we'll just spin the nut on just so it stays in place. But what we want to do is we want to get a look and see where these holes are landing in reference to this and how low, high, low you want to go with the bike. The shorter the distance between this hole and this hole, is the shorter the distance, the higher the bike's going to sit. You want to lower the bike, you want to drop down to one of these other options here. Now if you can get a look at this here, right where my finger is pointing right here, you can see that as I jack the bike up, the bike is going up higher. We've got a shorter distance here. This is pretty much your stock setting. Most of the times the shortest setting is your stock ride height setting, within a little bit. We want to lower the bike. We're going to just tweak the jack just a little bit here. Let me grab that. And as I lower very slowly, I want you to see what's happening here, that the bike is coming down, that we are accessing another option here. That's your first setting. And if we feel like we're not low enough, we're just going to go down again, bring it down to the next setting, and so forth. I may have gotten to this point and realized that, you know, I'd really like it a little bit lower. Now here's something that could happen that I want you to see here. As you're bringing this jack down, you're trying to get these lower holes, we're kind of like, oops, we're gonna hit something here. In this case, we're gonna hit the exhaust, but we might be hitting something else. And now you're gonna get all jammed up, and we're gonna show you how to get out of this jam. Very simple. Now to fix this problem, this interference problem you're having when you want to get lower, let's just get this in a position now that we can work with it. So we're gonna put this bolt through here. We're just gonna temporarily put this nut on here. We've got the nut on the top and on the bottom here temporarily. So to eliminate our interference problem, let's jack up the jack now. Now that we're hooked up, it's gonna lift the suspension. So what we'll wanna do is take regular 2x4, whatever you got, put it under this rear tire here. Now you've got the room you're gonna need to go lower. This is jacked up. When we're done with this, you could just roll the bike off, jack it up, take it out, however you wanna do it. But this is just so we can get the jack out if we wanna go lower. As before, we're gonna go back to a sweet spot, not loaded on the suspension. Let's bring that down a little bit. Okay, go ahead and take this nut back off. You can see this is a little bit tight, so here we're gonna go for that sweet spot again. It's either gonna be up or down. I think we just need to go up a little bit with this. There it is, it's unloaded. It come right off, very nice there. So now that it is, yes, now that we have some more clearance, let's go ahead and let's lower this some more. And again, let's hold this up here and see where we want to go. I think we can go right down to the lowest setting on this one here and still have clearance. And we're almost there, right there. There's our lowest setting right there. And like I said, if you can't get this bolt in, you can always pop that sleeve back out. In this case, we're okay. We're clearing the exhaust, so let's go ahead and shove that through there. Let me go ahead and put your nut on there. And like I said, we've got the long distance here, so we've got the lowest setting on the bike. Okay, now that we've got lowering links installed where you want them, and we've got the nuts back on here, you can go ahead and take your wrenches and go ahead and let's just tighten these nuts up here. And this job will be complete. Okay, now that your links are installed, you're all done with your install. One thing you're gonna have to consider, if you've gone to an extreme like we have, we've lowered it quite a bit, consider the fact that you're gonna need a shorter kickstand. If you don't lower it too much, you might get by with a stock stand, but in this case, it's very low. We have a Roaring Toyz lowering kickstand that'll make the bike stand up properly when you park the bike. Well, now we've got the lowering links installed, we've got the lowering kickstand installed. Let's not forget about the front end. We're gonna have to bring the front end into a proper ride height. Now this particular bike, this bike is different than a lot of other bikes, but the concept is pretty much the same. You're gonna loosen up these clamps. Of course, you're gonna have a jack under here so it doesn't get away from you. You don't want these things to pop all the way up through. But what we've done is we've installed these blocks. That gives us room to move these forks up. So we loosen these clamps, these forks move up, the front end moves down, and we're gonna get a decent ride height out of this bike.